DIT.
Yeah. So after you say that he moved in Germany during the 20s.
Yes. What happened actually is that after we had many discussions with his parents that wanted him to stay in Stashov and go to and become a religious person like his parents. In 1920, they agreed and helped him to go to Germany. Mm-hmm. And in 1920, he arrives in Germany, and after a certain time, he gets some information about the Bauhaus, and then he's invited to join the Bauhaus. And you can see here when he arrives in Bauhaus, his style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it changed completely. I mean, we can see here a lot of influence even from Cubism.
This is Cubism, but still influenced by his Jewish background.
Yes, because the figure that the people,
yes, but it is already Cubism, as you said. So you can really see, and this is what we'll see in the works that we are going to see here, how he's moving from one style to the other. Mm-hmm. And this is great. Unfortunately, so many of his work were destroyed, so we don't have about several periods, but still we can see his way of looking at life and developing.
Yes, here we were looking at those drawing with Liborio, yes. And we were thinking I was thinking a lot about Ferdinand Léger, mm-hmm. that he was also a Cubist, but a lot of critics, they were calling him Tubist. Because like the composition was a little bit different, like not very into Cubism. There were like a lot of those tube in the shape. But yes, this is very interesting. We can see how it developed his style with that.
Yeah, okay. What is interesting here is that when Kirszenbaum arrived in Germany in the 1920s, the idea was to move from Judaism and to be international. Mm-hmm. And that's really a great painting that I found at the Frans Hals Museum in Holland. And luckily enough, he was involved in exhibition in Holland through the Bauhaus, and that's why this painting survived. But you really can see here the difference in style, that when he came to Germany, he wanted to be involved in Germany. He wanted to be an expressionist, not to forget the sources, but to be involved in the development of art. And at that period of time, the two places where the art was really growing and developing were Paris and Berlin, France and Germany. And he arrived to Germany, and immediately he was involved. He had a great teacher at the Bauhaus, and we'll see about some of his work, how he developed.
Who they were, like the teacher? I mean, Bauhaus, we know that they were like important like teacher as Paul Klee.
Some of his teachers were Paul Klee. Uh-huh. Then was Vladimir Kandinsky. And there were some others. I don't remember the names of all of them, but it represents really something very important, because these painters were the most important painters during that period in Germany and in France. And people were coming either to Paris or to Berlin to get involved. In Germany, Expressionism developed. In France, Impressionism. But both places were really the center of art in the 1920s.
Yeah, and even the school, I mean, Gropius, when he had this idea, it was really like take a lot of inspiration about the art and craft of Morris and Ruskin. So he developed the concept of the school. And it was one of the first schools that was including art, design, architecture. So it was very, very important. And here I'm reading that the exhibition, he actually had few exhibition with the gallery Der Sturm, right? So
Yes.
this was a very important gallery because they were all expressionists and a lot of artists of the 20th century.
That's right. What happened actually is that he was at the Bauhaus for around a year, and then the Bauhaus style. At the beginning, you learn it was more artistic, and then they moved to architecture, and then he left and he moved to Berlin.
Yes, because
And then,
also the Bauhaus moved in Berlin as well at one point at the end of
to Dessau.
Dessau and after Berlin at the end.
That's right. And the Bauhaus, they had also some representative in Holland. And that's why this work was kept, because he sold some of his works to Holland. In Germany, everything was destroyed. And luckily enough, we got one work that we succeeded to find in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and and after what happened?
No, let me tell you a bit how the things happened. He moved from the Bauhaus in Berlin. He arrived from the Bauhaus from Weimar. He moved to Berlin, and in Berlin he got married. Found most probably a very nice girl, and he got married. And he started, he had to earn a living. So he started earning his living by making caricatures. And what was happening, it was in between the two wars. And there was a lot of criticism of the society in Germany following the First World War. And he got very much involved in it. And I think that's why we found in the German press, and that's something great that you have been doing, is finding in the press in Germany of the 1920s how he was involved. One of the interesting things is that his name is Kirszenbaum, but he was looking for a name that was easily, that people could remember easily. Mm-hmm. So Kirszenbaum is the cherry of the tree, and in Hebrew, duvdevani is the fruit of the cherry. Again, this is the same. It's just a translation, but in Hebrew. But it has a sound that is easy to remember. It's easy. I assume it's easier to remember duvdevani than Kirszenbaum. And we didn't know about it. We didn't know when I started my research. Mm-hmm. I never realized that he was also not only Kirszenbaum. And a friend of mine that was involved in research, he came once to me and he told me, I've got something nice to tell you. And he took out pictures, and suddenly he showed me 30 pictures. And he said, do you know that your uncle was a caricaturist? And I said, I never heard about it. He said, yes, because you were looking for Kirszenbaum. But it is also duvdevani. And that's how everything started with our research and the finding and the beautiful work that you have done. And that completes something that I've started really knowing about.
So how many caricatures did you find? So how many caricatures we have right now that we could look at it? Look at them, sorry.
I think most or a large part of them are in the beautiful catalog that you have done. But I don't know a lot about it, because the people in Germany, they were looking for it and finding for me. But he was surely, as far as I know, one of the greatest caricaturists of this period, and a very important one in that difficult period.
Yes, I was thinking about, for example, George Grosz, who did a lot. He was also a caricaturist, and also, as even him, he changed it in a way. It's like a surname because he didn't want to be. He wanted to take distance with this heritage, with this country. So, and even him changed a little bit the spelling of growth. Instead to write growth with two s, he changed with s and z. So because he didn't want to be in a way be recognized, it was, he wanted to take distance with this country as well. So yeah, it was very interesting moment, that one. Yeah. So after that, so yeah, and also the life of the middle class. We can see everybody who is drinking, who is playing cards, who's dancing. So all the life of the middle class.
I think it describes very well
Yeah.
the German society in the 1920s. And I think this is what is great in these caricatures, because it really represents a period. And it's great that it has been kept in such a way. And this is what is great with all these painters, that they developed. They started. Today, many times I go to a museum and I look at exhibition, and you have the impression that it's one style for one period. And with Picasso, with Chagall, with Kirszenbaum, you can really see the development of the painter and how he developed, and his art, as in his art developed.
So, and after he moved in Paris, we say around 1933.
Yes. What happened is that in 1930, the situation started getting very bad for many of the painters and the artists in Germany. They were supposed to be cursed painters, cursed people, and he decided, as he was also considered as a cursed painter, he decided that he's got to run away, and he left all his belongings, and with his wife, he fled to Paris, and all his belongings were destroyed, most probably, because we never found anything of this period in Germany. Maybe something exists, but we have not succeeded to find.
It.